Hello and welcome to this video in which we'll be looking at a CAT 2024 Slot 2 reading comprehension passage. In this video, I'm going to be only reading the passage and talking about what is it that we're supposed to understand from the passage and then talk a bit about the difficulty level of this passage. So when we start reading the passage, this passage does a very good job, an excellent job of giving a first sentence that kind of captures the essence of the entire passage. There are three other common drivers for carnivore human attacks, some of which are more preventable than others. So barring the word other, I can understand this word other can throw us a bit off because this tells us that this passage has been taken from the middle of some kind of an article in which they have already given some drivers for carnivore human attacks. But at least I know that from here, three reasons for carnivore human attacks will be given to us. And from here, every paragraph talks about a different reason. So first reason that the same paragraph talks about is natural aggression-based conflicts where there are carnivores who are trying to defend their territory, their young ones, their food sources. So that's why they become aggressive, because it's more of a protection for them. So that leads to carnivore human attacks. Next is predatory or predation-related attacks, which is about carnivores who consider human beings to be food. And the author is clearly saying that these attacks are rare. It is very, very rare that carnivores actually truly consider human beings as food. So that's the second reason. Third reason is there are animal attacks which are provoked by people. So human beings becoming responsible for the attacks because they are provoking them. They are going into the natural settings. They're going into their habitats, and then they are taking pictures, and they are doing a few other things that leads to carnivore human attacks. The rest of the passage after this first half completely focuses on this aspect of provocation by people, either directly or indirectly. So next paragraph again, the author brings about research that has been done by someone named Penteriani, and about how 50% of the carnivore human attacks can be avoided if human beings acted differently, which means that of the three reasons, the biggest reason the author attributes towards human beings provoking these attacks. And then the author in the next paragraph tells us at the very beginning that two of the most risky behaviors are leaving children unattended and walking their pets like dogs without a leash. So these are the two most risky behavior. The next paragraph shifts the blame onto climate change, which is also to a certain extent man-made, as we know. So this is also talking about human beings' responsibility, which has created an environment that causes animal attacks. It's the only paragraph in which India is mentioned. And it talks about a drought season where lion started attacking humans because of drought, because they could not find their food sources. So they ventured out into human territory. And then the last paragraph ends with another perspective on that same sense of research done by Penteriani and his team. That likelihood of human carnivore conflicts appears to be higher in areas of low-income countries dominated by vast rural landscapes and farmland. This is what we have to understand after finishing the passage. These are the important parts of the passage to focus upon. Now, this passage is 527 words long, longer than most average CAT RC passages, not by much, but still a long passage to read. But the passage is kind of factual. I won't say that this passage is analytical because analysis of the reasons behind human carnivore attacks have been explored. But the author is not performing their own analysis. The author is just reporting the results, the facts that have been found by other researchers. So the tone is factual, but yes, analysis is present in the passage. So we can call it an analytical passage because analysis of reasons behind human carnivore attacks has been explored. The source is BBC. It is from a BBC source. That's why language sounds very readable. It's not from an academic source, so the author does not go too much into academics. The author is presenting research, but it's been written in a way that common public can understand, and that's what makes the overall level of difficulty of this passage easy to read. I would say that 140 to 160 seconds is a good time to read the passage. Anyone who's comfortable with RCs can actually finish reading it within 2.5 minutes. And why? Because despite the passage being long and despite so many points being present, because facts are being reported, it's easily understandable. We can visualize what happens in the wilderness. Every single point is simple to grasp. So for that reason, despite being a longer passage and despite there being too many points, I think 2.5 minutes is a good time to read. 3 minutes, 10 seconds, even 15 seconds, you should not take more than that to read the passage. If you're reading it for longer than that, maybe you're trying to mug up details inside the passage, which absolutely is not necessary. You should go back to the passage anyway to verify what can be the answers to questions. And overall level of difficulty, I would say, is easy. So this is what we'll take away from the passage after reading it. Stay tuned for the next video in which I'll be discussing the solutions of the questions of this exercise. Thank you.